good friend of our very own St. Francis. That's why we and the Dominicans have a special bond between us. So we celebrate this on August 8th. St. Dominic Guzman was his last name, who helped the cause of orthodoxy in the medieval church by founding his order, the Order of Preachers, known as Dominicans. What a surprise. This great saint reminds us that in the heart of the church, a missionary first must always burn, Pope Benedict XVI said. The search for God's glory and the salvation of souls went hand in hand. He was born in Spain in the year 1170, the son of Felix Guzman and Joanna of Aza, members of the nobility. His mother would eventually be beatified by the church, as would his brother Manes, who became a Dominican. The family's oldest son, Antonio, also became a priest. Dominic received his early education from his uncle, who was a priest, before entering the University of Palencia, where he studied for 10 years. In one notable incident from this period, he sold his entire collection of rare books to provide for the relief of the poor in the city. After his ordination to the priesthood, Dominic was asked by Bishop Diego to participate in local church reforms. He spent 9 years in Osma, pursuing a life of intense prayer, before being called to accompany the bishop on a piece of business for King Alfonso IX. While traveling in France with the bishop, Dominic observed the bad effects of the Albigensian heresy, which had taken hold of southern France during the preceding century. The sect revived, that is, an earlier heresy, Manichaeism, which condemned the material world as an evil realm not created by God. Dreading the spread of heresy, Dominic began to think about founding a religious order to promote the truth. In 1204, he and Bishop Diego were sent by Pope Innocent III to assist in the effort against the Albigensians, which eventually involved both military force and theological persuasion. In France, Dominic engaged in doctrinal debates and set up a convent whose rule would eventually become a template for the life of female Dominicans. He continued his preaching mission from 1208 to 1215 during the intensification of the military effort against the Albigensians. In 1214, Dominic's extreme physical asceticism called him to fall into a coma, during which the Virgin Mary is said to have appeared to him and instructed him to promote the prayer of the Rosary. His focus on the incarnation and life of Christ directly countered the Albigensian attitude toward matter as evil. During that same year, Dominic returned to Toulouse and obtained the bishop's approval of his plan for an order dedicated to preaching. He and a group of followers gained local recognition as a religious congregation, and Dominic accompanied Toulouse's bishop to Rome for an ecumenical council in 1215. The council stressed the church's need for better preaching, but also set up a barrier to the institution of new religious orders. Dominic, however, obtained papal approval for his plan in 1216 and was named as the Pope's chief theologian. The Order of Preachers expanded in Europe with papal help in 1218. The founder spent the last several years of his life building up the order and continuing his preaching mission, during which he is said to have converted some 100,000 people. After several weeks of illness, St. Dominic died in Italy on August 6, 1221, and was canonized in 1234 by Pope Gregory IX. St. Dominic, good friend of St. Francis. Tradition has it that during Dominic's second visit to Rome, he met Francis of Assisi. They were both looking for compensation and for approval of their order. Having seen Francis in a vision the night before, Dominic recognized him and rushed to greet him, and thus a close friendship sprang up between the two, And to this day, Dominicans and Franciscans exchange visits on each other's founders' feast days as a sign of unity towards a common goal. I was an eyewitness to that because very frequently on his feast day, the Dominicans would come to the sacred convent in Assisi, and there they would join us for prayer and a wonderful meal and a time to get together and enjoy each other's presence and dedication to God. Our good friends, the Dominicans, would come for a meal of pasta and tomato sauce, all dressed in white. And to me, the greatest miracle was they could eat the entire meal without getting any tomato sauce stains on their all-white habits. But miracles continue even till today. How's that, huh? Pretty good? I thought you'd like it. And it's true.